this like inner protection where you're trying to protect yourself from yourself, and as if the self-built walls can protect you from the natural flow of life's challenges. So this idea of forgiveness and gratitude, it's offering us a way to transform this vicious cycle. That, the only way to break through it is by breaking beyond the ego, having these transpersonal experiences, going beyond the ego, going beyond the mask, going beyond the walls that we've built up. Transpersonal experiences, transcendent experiences, mystical experiences, spiritual experiences. And that's when you get these profound opportunities to finally forgive yourself. Because you can see the innocence of it all, the pure beauty and the innocence of everything. It's there for you. It's there for you. To have these experiences of pain, to have these uncomfortable experiences. Hi family, welcome to our Cosmic Healing channel, where we discuss galactic knowledge and wisdom from within, all for the purposes of quantum healing, coping, healing mental health, dealing with life, but ultimately healing. So what I want to talk about today is about forgiveness and gratitude, and really talk about that on a super deep and personal level and what that really means. So it's easy for us to see this belief that we can't show any weakness, and that is a virtue, which is essential to survival. And as a species, a new species, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions of years ago, trying to survive, any weakness on the part of one person could be devastating on the part of, the whole tribe or the whole family. So over thousands and thousands of years of evolution, we learned to create these massively reinforced systems to ensure our survival, which makes sense. So as we evolved over these thousands of years, and the threats from the outside world, completely diminished, no predators, no mountain lions, to attack us, that stopped. That wasn't there anymore. So what happened is we moved these protection mechanisms to our inner world. They weren't, because we evolved these safety precautions, these safety mechanisms to protect us from the outside. But then when they weren't there anymore, we just moved that inside. And that became us protecting ourselves from our own emotions. Our own emotions. The realm of the emotions became the wild, unknown jungle, from which we needed to protect ourselves from. So maintaining this level of inner alert, this inner protection where you're trying to protect yourself, from your own emotions, is like this constant reinforcement of your own walls that your ego is building up around its safe kingdom, because the ego is just a safety mechanism for you. It just cares about your safety. It's wholly innocent and wholly beautiful in that it just cares about you and just wants to keep you safe, and it's very innocent. I've had a few really in-depth, profound conversations with my own ego when I've been coming off psychedelic trips, and it's always really enlightening, because it's really just on the basis of protection, but it's also funny because, there's this sort of hilarious aspect to it, which is, there is so much love out there in the universe, and it really wants to wants to be flowing through us. But the ego is like building up these barriers, like totally innocently, stopping that from happening. So this takes up a lot of energy, constantly building these walls, for your own inner safety kingdom. It takes up so much energy. And the drive, the inner evolutionary drive to never show weakness has remained. So we kind of like push through these obstacles and, just relentlessly rebuilding the facade of strength, even in, circumstances and challenges that seem, insurmountable, because that does happen. They do exist. And as life goes on, and as we're challenged more and more and more in modern life, there reaches a tipping point. Because, we're going through life thinking that we're, so strong, like building this facade of strength, like just trying to get through and push through everything. And that takes up so much energy. And obviously, nature, the forces of nature are around us. These challenges that happen to us, these things that happen, that's natural. The natural forces of nature. But we just build ourselves up around them. And it's just, like tidal waves, just like pushing against a wall. It's so much energy for us. So if we're building up these walls all of our life, there's going to be a tipping point. It's going to become too much. Just think about, nature. One volcano taking out the whole Canary Islands. One storm and, half of the UK is flooded. Like, we're dealing with nature here. We can't, we can't win. So when we reach this tipping point and we don't have the energy anymore to keep the walls intact that we've been building up, this facade, then suddenly everything just comes crashing down. And that will happen to us through crisis. So it could be, a health condition, a relationship breakdown, or something, really existential. And it will come to us in the form of crisis. And that happens. That happens all of the time. So when it does happen, the first thing that we do as humans, always, and I'm so guilty of this, everyone is we punish ourselves. We punish ourselves for that, for being for trying to be so strong, and it just unbalancing and just something, and then something collapses, and we punish ourselves for that, and we say, oh, if I was a stronger person, or if I was this, or if I'd done this, that wouldn't have happened. And then the walls come up again. And then you just rebuild the wall. Like that awful thing, that crisis happened to you, is happening to you. And then you just go back to, oh, well, it's my fault. It's my fault. I should have done this. If I was stronger, it wouldn't have happened. So the walls come up again. And as if, the self-built walls can protect you from the natural flow of life's challenges. Life comes with challenges. That's the game. That's the idea. That's why we incarnated into the physical. I know it sounds crazy, but there are, instances of souls, and I've had this idea, this channeling given to me, that it's an adventure. It's an adventure. But anyway, That's a slightly different tangent. But it's this idea that, as if these self-built walls can protect you from the flow of life's natural challenges. And we just have to accept that these challenges and adversities are a completely natural part of life. So it's just your relationship to them and how you deal with them and your reaction to them is everything. So we build up our walls again all the time, constantly, and we're just sitting there huddled in our own prison from our own walls that we've been built, that our ego is built to protect our inner safety. And we sit there and we think, we wonder why no one is helping us, why there's no help, why there's no love, Why? Because the universe wants to love you so much, like so much, but you're just building those walls. I've done this. I'm guilty. We're just building those walls, and the universe is like, knock knock, and we're just like, no, I'm too scared. I can't. It's funny. So when that happens, when we're just sitting there trapped in our own safety kingdom, thinking that there's no love and no help, and we just feel so alone, rejected and weak, but we're pretending to be strong, and we feel unlovable, and it's confusing. It's really confusing. And these self-built walls, they do become an impenetrable barrier through which, even the universe can't get past it. And that's the truth. So this idea of forgiveness and gratitude, it's offering us a way to transform this vicious cycle. But it has to start with you. It has to start at the personal level. And it's a huge ask, it is big, because it requires us to go beyond the millennia of programming about the definition of weakness and strength. And this millennia of programming is so real, like ancestral trauma and, ancestral, just evolution. It's programming in a way. It's huge, and it's like our consciousness is expanding so much that we're becoming so aware of all of these things that, the only way to break through it is by breaking beyond the ego, having these transpersonal experiences, going beyond the ego, going beyond the mask, going beyond the walls that we've built up. Transpersonal experiences, transcendent experiences, mystical experiences, spiritual experiences. That is us going beyond the millennia of programming that we're entrenched in. Do you see? So going beyond the millennia of programming about, strength and weakness and what that really means. It requires us to find a way to disassemble these walls and start embracing our vulnerability. Start embracing our inner child, our innocence. Because that's when the programming is really setting in, is when we're children, right? So embracing our innocence and our vulnerability is really our natural ability to be open to the energy of the universe. We know as children we're so connected. We're so connected. We're in the womb, fully communing with God the Father and God the Mother. We're fully connected, and it's blissful and ecstasy, and it's gorgeous when we're in the womb. That's paradise. And then we're born, and then society and our parents, splurge all of their ancestral programming and trauma onto us. And we forget that our natural, inherent self is to be open and in flow with the energy of the universe all the time. All the time. And when we're born, it's this new relationship to the connection, because you're no longer physically connected because you're not in the mother's womb anymore. You're in the world of separation. So there is a separation there, but your consciousness is still fully connected to the mother. Fully. So it's really nice to think about. I'll probably do an entire different video about ancestral trauma and healing and childhood development and things like that, because it's super interesting. Anyway, so about being vulnerable and innocent and remembering that it is your natural state to be open to energy of the universe, and just remembering that. So exploring that path will take you on a really deep inner journey to excavate belief systems that have been ingrained from parents and society that tell you that weakness is bad, which isn't true. And it will lead you to see how you have punished yourself. It's the first thing we do, is blame ourselves. Punishing yourself for not being strong over and over again, not being strong enough. And then when you keep going with the excavation, that is when you get these profound opportunities that arise. It's only when you just go so deep and you dig and you dig and you dig and you go deep and you really, with your heart and your mind, with that connection. And that's when you get these profound opportunities to finally forgive yourself. Because you can see the innocence of it all, the pure beauty and the innocence of everything. But you won't be able to see that unless you go really deep, and it hurts. It fucking hurts. I've been there. I've gone so deep into my pain that I've finally felt God's love. And it's the same. It's like the love and the pain. It's the same. It's like the root. You have to go through the pain. It's like a paradox. It's the only way. It's the way. The way. So these ideas are really centered around forgiving yourself for the multitude of crimes that you've committed against yourself. Like not being perfect enough, not being strong enough, not being the perfect, strong you. Punishing yourself, hating yourself. How often does that happen? How often do you see that happening? You're constantly blaming and punishing yourself and hate. It's just about love, self-love. Again, self-love, self-compassion. Why are you constantly hating on yourself? Why are you constantly punishing yourself? Why? You're just an innocent child. You're innocent in all of this. This is just this is just life. This is evolution. And my husband, he sees this in me. He sees this in me constantly, and he says, why are you hating on yourself so much? Why are you beating on yourself? He can see it in me. And it's because of these reasons. It's because of, protection and protecting yourself, not wanting to feel the pain, thinking that it's all your fault. It's not. It's not. There's adversity out there. There's challenges out there all the time. It's part of the game. It's part of what you signed up for. I know that sounds fucked up and it's like very basic, but it's true. And I'm really just talking to myself now about this. But that's this understanding, that's this profound understanding that comes when you have these opportunities. Learn to see this stuff that comes up as opportunity for self-discovery. Fucking self-discovery. This is your adversity, your challenges. You own it. They didn't happen to you. They're happening for you so that you can see how strong you really are. Not the facade that you've been building up. It's a different relationship. So learn to see each opportunity as one for self-discovery. And this will come, often. It will come in the form of crisis. It will come in the form of crisis, no matter what that crisis is. But it's there for you. It's there for you. To have these experiences of pain, to have these uncomfortable experiences, which are really scary. All we ever do is protect ourselves, from the unknown. So when we learn to see each opportunity for self-discovery, which does come in the form of crisis, and that self-discovery and that opportunity is this interdimensional window which we can use to facilitate our own healing. Isn't that beautiful? It's like there's that healing is there to be done. It's there in you. It's ready. It's waiting. But it can't be done until you have a crisis. Until something happens and you're like, fuck everything. Fuck this. This sucks. But you fucking go there. You go into it. You just push into it with love and with love for yourself. Just pushing down those barriers, just breaking it down, just opening yourself to the connection and love of the universe that's always there. I mean, imagine if we drew a little diagram and the universe is constantly trying to flow to you, but you're just building up this protection against you because you just don't want to feel it for whatever reason. You don't want to feel it because you think it's scary, you think it's unknown. There's all these ideas, these programmed ideas that think that, the outside and the unknown is like really scary and, we don't want to feel it. We don't want to go there. But actually, if we just go back to memories in the womb, memories as a child, the truth of us, that is the true, genuine us. That is the truth of us. When we remember as a child, how connected we were, how, you can talk to children and ask them about their time in their mum's womb, about being connected, and they know. It's so esoteric, it's crazy. And, my grandparents told me that I used to say, the craziest stuff, when I was really young, like a toddler. And they would their jaws would be on the floor, like the stuff that I would say, about profound, universal things. And that's you. That's the true you. You're so connected. So these opportunities when crisis comes, that's your opportunity to go so deep and to facilitate this interdimensional healing process because that pain and that belief system and that trauma is there. It's been caught. It's been caught, and it's there, and it's buried in you. And then this outside life adversity happens, and it triggers this thing. And then you feel it, but you don't want to feel it. So you're like, no, building up all the walls. But no, you fucking go there and you fucking feel it. And it opens like a flower, honestly, like a blossoming flower. It's all so beautiful and so elaborate and so perfect. And that's your opportunity for healing. That's the interdimensional, cosmic, quantum healing that we're talking about. And that's your opportunity to be grateful. Grateful for these crises that arise, that exist to help wake you up from this sleeping state of not being connected to the universe. Why? And it's only through this profound gratitude and from the perspective of this greater vision, this greater picture, that you begin this process of self-forgiveness. And that is essential on the path to awakening. It is. So learn to forgive. Be grateful for these opportunities if you're ready to go there. You know, like the hero's journey. That we have this capability within us as humans, this like valiant determination, you know, like to be connected with the universe. That's our God-given state, is to be in love with God, because God is in love with us. Truly, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm really glad to be able to share it. Because this is my experience. This is me on my healing journey. Anyway, namaste. Thank you so much. I love you very much. And please join me again. Hopefully, I'll see you really, really soon.